Pop over here. Hey guys, what is happening? What's happening? It is Rob from Crypto Bobby. Hope y'all are having a good night so far. What's up, William? How's it going, man? Hey guys, how you doing? How is everything going so far? Trying to, hopefully, I'm not sure how this is going to work at this point in time. Let's see, actually, I might be. I'm just going to delete this thing. Just playing around real quick on, you guys give me 2 seconds here just to fix the YouTube chat so you guys can hopefully see that in the future here. There we go. Sweet, so sorry about that, everybody. How is it going? It is Rob from Crypto Bobby. Really just wanted to hop onto this YouTube live tonight, talk a little bit about kind of what's going on in the marketplace today. Obviously a big drop thanks to our friends over in China. So cheers to China. Carol, what's up, man? Appreciate that $10 Coinbase sign up. Hope you enjoy that. Yeah, I mean, really, it's pretty, for the most part, pretty simple. I'll pull up these 4-hour charts right now, and you know, if we kind of pop in here a little bit, really, I mean, for the most part, there was one green candle, but Bitcoin going down from 46.50 or so all the way down to 42.50, about 42.50. So about a $400 drop in Bitcoin over the past 12. Let's say the past, you know, less than. Maybe about the past 12 hours or so. So Bitcoin really getting worked, and obviously everything else within the market is falling due to that, which is pretty crazy there. Good, not necessarily good to see. I think there's kind of two ways that you can certainly look at this in a lot of respects. Is number one, this is potentially a nice buy opportunity, and then outside of that as well, this is potentially a buy opportunity, or this is the start of substantiated rumors and Bitcoin exchanges are going to be banned in China, and then you are going to be seeing a really steep drop in price from there. So it'll be interesting to see how that potentially pans out, and what might happen here. But when I kind of logged in today and over just the past, I would say the past few days, for the most part, things have been somewhat steady. There hasn't been really any crazy sudden drops. I mean, there's been some slow rises, slow declines, but you saw within the past, looking at this, I mean, you could see the craziness of the crypto market, and why a lot of people are drawn to it and why a lot of people are petrified of it is obviously this type of movement in the past 16 hours or so, which is nuts there. And guys, if you have any questions too, definitely feel free to sound off as far as questions go. Happy to kind of take them and answer them as much as possible. So definitely let me know if you have questions on whether it's China and the stuff that happened today. Crypto Jack, what's going on, my man? But if it's anything really just in relationship to kind of what's happening, or anything of that nature, happy to answer as much and as quickly as possible for you guys. And also too, I mean, happy, depending upon where you are, obviously, but for me on the East Coast, happy Friday night to you guys. Hope you're having a good one, and it is somewhat happy hour for me. Got a nice little glass of wine here. Hope you're drinking somewhere, whether it's wine, beer, whiskey, or orange juice. I don't really care, but Trevor mentioned holding through this pain. Yeah, that's pretty much the plan for me at this point in time. I'm just looking to see how things shake out and of how things move forward at this juncture. So, hey, Joe Mar, what's up, man? Chris mentioned, what are my thoughts as far as Bitcoin dropping down to 3,900? I think that's definitely realistic. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it does, especially if the rumors are substantiated. It's not that much lower of a move than where we're at right now. And, looking at a couple other, Steve, Adam drinking that almond milk, and Steve going for the beer. Two opposite ends of the spectrum there. So, but certainly today has been an interesting one, I'd say, from just really the entire marketplace. Whether it's been Bitcoin, whether it's been Ethereum. Ethereum got crushed real quick as well. Pretty much everything, I think, followed Bitcoin and moved at pretty quick pace. I think this is, for the most part right now, this has been an interesting, if you are a trader, if you're a day trader, me personally, I'm not, but if you are a day trader, I mean, this has been incredible action from a day trading perspective to see this type of stuff. But this gives you, I mean, if anything, I still believe that Ethereum is going to go over its all-time high of $400 in the next 1 to 2 months, unless this China regulation news becomes substantiated and it's legitimate. So I'm still pretty positive on Ethereum's continued advancement back over its all-time highs, but depending upon if this China stuff is real or not, I guess we'll have to see. But I mean, if it's not real, then you're getting a nice discount on basically all crypto. If it is real, then I think this is just the start of things, quite frankly, because I know a lot of people, and I mean even myself too. There's all these quotes going around and things like that about anything. I think it's Fred Wilson that said anything that China bans, invest in. However, at the same point in time, because China's banned Google, China's banned Facebook, China's banned so many massive internet companies. But at the same time, when you're looking at what China's banned and things of that nature, Bitcoin, when it comes to Bitcoin, when it comes to cryptocurrency, China is responsible for so much volume and so much buying power when it comes to cryptocurrency that if China is not able to buy that, I think that does present a pretty serious problem that, whether you want to admit or not, I think it is going to be a problem if that happens. So I'm really hoping it doesn't happen. I'm hoping China's not that stupid, but it wouldn't shock me by any stretch. So Kane mentioned at what point do I think the alts will stop being tied to Bitcoin price? I mean, it's tough because you're talking about, I don't know. That's a tough answer because I don't necessarily know. I mean, it's Bitcoin right now. The market cap is 60-something, 70-something billion dollars, and most altcoins are below $1 billion. So Bitcoin is the big daddy in the room when it comes to the market capitalization of cryptocurrency. So for the most part, if you're talking at, about $100 million coin, that basically just follows the movement of Bitcoin. However, if something can get even to Bitcoin, even Ethereum follows the movement of Bitcoin, and it's in a lot of respects maybe half the size, a little bit less than half the size of cryptocurrency or of Bitcoin. So it'll be interesting to see. So Sagar mentioned, what do I think about Litecoin? And I can pull up Litecoin for you as well. So, I mean, from Litecoin standpoint, I think Litecoin is an interesting one. Let me see if I get this panel up here. Litecoin is definitely an interesting one. It's had a good run, especially in the past couple months, moving all the way up to $90. I think it's been interesting as Charlie Lee has left his position at Coinbase and focused on Litecoin and focused on Litecoin full time. So I don't have any Litecoin holdings. I'm not if for me personally, I would rather look at there's only so many places you can kind of invest money in. There's only so many places you can look at investing money in, for me at least, and there's kind of specific places that I look at personally. With that being said, I think that Litecoin is definitely, for the most part, a solid investment. I think it has utility. It's considered one of those top 5 cryptocurrencies, is considered one of those top 5 coins, and it's had a nice drop in the past little bit of time. It could represent a nice discount to buy in at, but I'm not a huge Litecoin advocate. Litecoin's whole value proposition, quite frankly, is it's essentially the silver to Bitcoin's gold. Why buy silver when you could buy gold is kind of my thought process there, quite frankly. And I get that there's a lot of utility on top of the lighter, basically the transaction network and everything of that nature, but So somebody mentioned look at Litecoin the past 2 years. I mean, it's definitely been solid. The past year, it's been fantastic. And so two questions I'll answer real quick: Bitcoin versus Ethereum, and then a quick recap of what's going on with crypto in China and a few tips for newbies. So I'll go first with the crypto in China, and then I'll talk about Bitcoin versus Ethereum. So right now, basically, what's happened with China? So why is the market gone within the past? Let's say past this. This is basically every cryptocurrency where it's dropped. Let's take a look at Litecoin from a measurement perspective. Litecoin's dropped about 13%. If I open up CoinMarketCap today, let's open up CoinMarketCap. I'll take a look here. Basically every cryptocurrency down 10%, 12%, 13%, 18%. Everything is in the red. Literally in the top 20, every cryptocurrency there is in the red. Basically everything in the top 100 is in the red. So that's due, in my opinion, due to some information that came out today. If you're on Twitter, if you're on Reddit, whatever it might be, in regards to China. And basically there was a rumor that came out today in regards to China that said that not only last week China banned ICO, so no longer is the participation of initial coin offerings allowed in China, but there's also some other kind of components to China as well, where you can't hold an ICO, you can't invest in an ICO, you can't have any kind of relation with an ICO at all in China. And now there was a rumor this morning, at least on the east coast of the U.S., about 10 a.m., 10 a.m. My time, where essentially there were some people that said that China was going to ban cryptocurrency and Bitcoin exchanges outright, so that you couldn't exchange cryptocurrency and Bitcoin in China, that the government was going to shut that down. So that immediately sent the price of Bitcoin and all cryptocurrencies dropping like a rock. I mean, you could take a look here, obviously. This has been over the past day or so, but dropping like a rock in the past 24 hours, 10, 12, double-digit percentage down. So that's kind of dropped that rock. I'll get to that question in a second, for sure. But that it sent the price of everything China-wise dropping pretty rapidly. It turned out that for right now, those are just rumors. Multiple cryptocurrency exchanges in China came out and said, we have not heard from the government. There is no such ban. These rumors are not substantiated. So basically, a couple journalists came out, or one journalist, and then some other people came out and said, this is China's banning the cryptocurrency exchanges. And then the cryptocurrency exchanges within like 2 hours or so said like, no, that's not happening. So that's really, for the most part, what has gone down with all this crap in China. The one somewhat scary thing, I think, with this, the rumors is there were rumors about the China ICO ban, or basically there were rumors about the China ICO ban before, about 3 or 4 days before the China ICO ban happened. So if that follows suit, this could potentially be the same thing where, there's rumors and then a couple days later, the regulation actually comes out and they straight up ban things. So that's one thing, you certainly want to be aware of, and I think is an interesting thing to keep in mind, just from how within the past week or so, the news cycle worked, at least in China. So that's something I'm keeping an eye on, but I'm not making any movements at this point in time. And then another question, so somebody mentioned too, so Common Capital mentioned the ICO ban is not what triggered the initial decline of Bitcoin from 4,800 or 48 to 4,400. No, absolutely not. But at the same point in time, the China ICO ban is what dropped the Bitcoin price from 4,650 to 4,250 in the past 10, 12 hours or so. So, and somebody mentioned, they were fake news announcements. That's what it looks like right now, but it's still a little bit unnerving nonetheless, and I think a lot of people are a little bit nervous about that in the market at this point in time. Now, outside of that too, so somebody mentioned Bitcoin versus Ethereum, and just my general thoughts there. Quite frankly, I like both. I initially got into the space and got interested in the space on the back of Bitcoin, but for the most part, I'm also, I work in enterprise tech. I'm really interested in technology, and I think, the Bitcoin and Ethereum are trying to, in many cases, accomplish two very different things, and they can coexist together. I don't think it has to necessarily be one versus the other. I think Bitcoin has utility. I think Ethereum has utility. Ethereum, to me, is more of a kind of computing platform, a potential decentralization platform for multiple use cases, whether it's, computing, storage, there's a lot that Ethereum could potentially do, with the Solidity programming language and a lot of things of that nature. Whereas Bitcoin is much more of I think, hopefully when they can kind of continue to improve from a transactional perspective, more of a transactional currency type replacement, or a store of value type of more of a store of value, more of like the, in a lot of cases, like digital gold, internet gold, that type of thing. Whereas Ethereum is a little bit more from a technologically kind of functional perspective. I think a little bit different there. That's kind of I think they can both coexist together. I think they're both, quite frankly, an essential part of a portfolio if you are a cryptocurrency investor. I do like both. I have biases, cognitive biases kind of towards each side of the house, but it'll be interesting to see. So somebody mentioned, can Ethereum develop pure currency similar to Bitcoin? So, I mean, Ethereum right now is a cryptocurrency similar to Bitcoin and can function as such, but I don't think that's the entire intention of it. Initially, I think that's kind of what a lot of the utility behind it is, and I think that's continued to evolve as the platform has advanced and as some different things have happened. So a lot of conspiracy theories going on right now too in regards to China. I mean, I've heard a lot of crazy stuff going on, and maybe some of it's true, maybe it's not. Some people have been saying, this is China driving down the price so they can buy in way cheaper. This is China trying to kind of remove competition and put Neo and Qtum in a position to succeed and kind of run their own thing. This is China having something to do with Bitcoin Cash. There's a lot of different kind of crazy conspiracy theories I've heard. They're conspiracies. I have no idea. So, yeah. So somebody mentioned Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin. Politically speaking, I don't have too much. I think Bitcoin needs to figure itself out. There's too many kind of different warring factions of Bitcoin right now with the Bitcoin and SegWit, and then the Bitcoin SegWit and SegWit 2X drama. I want Bitcoin personally to figure it out because they are the market leader. I mean, they're responsible for $60-70 billion of market cap. So it's important for Bitcoin to, I think, for the overall market to succeed, Bitcoin, quite frankly, has to succeed, at least for the near term. So I hope Bitcoin can kind of figure it out. Bitcoin Cash, I really don't know. I mean, there's a lot of like weird things going on with it, whether it's Roger Ver and all the kind of stuff about him putting Bitcoin Cash first. A lot of the things that people talk about Jihan and Bitmain and all this type of stuff. So there's I mean, out of the conspiracy theories, Bitcoin Cash is probably like the leading crazy thing about about Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. So it's interesting, but I mean, there's definitely serious problems with Bitcoin right now from a transactional perspective. I mean, even moving money, if you move like on a Ledger wallet, if you move $1,000 of Bitcoin, the other day it was like $11 in transaction fees. Like that's not the purpose of Bitcoin. Whereas if you move Ethereum, you can move Ethereum for like, you can move $1,000 of Ethereum for like 3 cents. Like I mean, the entire purpose, or not the entire purpose, but a vast purpose, one of the big purposes of cryptocurrency is to enable transactions to go through with low fees at high speeds. And if Bitcoin can't fulfill that vision, there's going to be an issue there. So somebody mentioned BitConnect Ponzi scheme. I'm not a fan of BitConnect. I think there's some shady things going on there. I would not recommend for it, but you got to do with your money what you want to do. But I'm not a fan of BitConnect personally. Not my cup of tea at all. So somebody mentioned they're a big fan. So thank you, man. And what would I name my boat if I had one? I don't know. I'd have to think about that for a minute. It depends on how big of a boat. I was actually, off-topic story of cryptocurrency. I was in Boston the other week, and we were we took a water taxi in Boston to go to a bar, and there was a massive yacht. I forget the friggin' name of it, actually, but I Googled it when we drove past it because I was in the water taxi. I was like, that is by far the nicest boat I've ever seen. Turned out it was the 33 or 34th richest man in the world. He was a Mexican billionaire, owned like $30 billion, or was worth like $30 billion, and it was his yacht, but it was like the most beautiful thing that I've ever seen. Somebody mentioned fan of Coin. Me personally, not really. Not a huge fan of Scicoin. I mean, I like the team. I like what they're trying to do. I like the team, but from an investment perspective, it's not my cup of tea. I think there's too much competition in that space, quite frankly. There are multiple companies out there basically going after the kind of file storage cryptocurrency, and now you have Filecoin, which just raised a freaking bajillion dollars, or not a bajillion dollars, but $200 million from accredited investors from Silicon Valley, like big names in Silicon Valley. So I think Filecoin is going to take some heat basically away from Scicoin, which will be interesting to see. But that'll be, I guess we'll see how that goes. Somebody mentioned Litecoin to hit 250 by 2018. So what's Litecoin at right now? Litecoin is worth $64. I don't feel like doing the math, but here, I can do the math. Why not? 250 divided by 64 times $12 billion market cap. I mean, that's not unreasonable by any stretch. So, I mean, I think that it's definitely not unreasonable by any way. But I mean, it's I don't know if it's necessarily kind of completely worth it all. Let's see here. Chris, what's going on, man? Appreciate I don't even know what that's called. The $2 though. Thank you, dude. But so Clocoin is up 30% today, which is probably one of the only ones that's up. $40 million market cap, so not a massive market cap, but a big spike. Quite frankly, I don't know much about Clocoin. This is one of the first times I've heard about it, one of the kind of beginning times I've heard about it right now. But this looks a little bit like a coin that might be suffering a little bit of market manipulation. I quite frankly don't know too much about it, but I'll have to take a little bit of a look more. I know from a lot of different perspectives, the privacy coins are, and that's kind of what I've talked about a little bit previously. So actually, looking at Clocoin right now with Enigma. So Enigma is ICOing soon, or in the process of ICOing. That might have had something to do. Maybe there's some news based off of Enigma and how they're going to kind of move forward with Enigma. I know some people that are participating in the Enigma ICO, so potentially, and I've heard some good things about that. I've also heard some kind of silly things about them increasing the ICO cap and doing some other things that a lot of people don't love, but it is what it is. So Hunter mentioned, and then I'll go to Common Capital as well. David James, what's up, brother? So Hunter mentioned, do I make a case for these Ethereum projects to actually make money? It seems like people are just throwing money away, and then somebody said bear market. So I'm in a group with a couple different people that I ended up meeting in New York, and there was recently a conference call presentation on trying to remember exactly what it is, but valuations of cryptocurrency. So sorry about that. Valuations of cryptocurrency. And when they were talking about these valuations of cryptocurrency, a lot of different things were discussed. But one of the big things that was going on with the valuations of cryptocurrency was the difference of these utility tokens. And, when I'm talking about utility tokens, I'm talking about things like Civic. I'm talking about things like Status. So not necessarily like Bitcoin or Ethereum or Litecoin, but something like let's just say a Civic or something else where it's not necessarily like a cryptocurrency in general, but it's a token that is a kind of utility per se, or it's supposed to have utility on a future platform. And with that being concerned as well, there was discussion in the valuation of how it's more difficult to evaluate the actual cryptocurrencies themselves, or like these platforms like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, like Litecoin, like Neo, whatever you want to say there. And with that being said, though, the utility tokens, they're going to have, I think they're more open to regulation. They're more potentially affected by regulation. And I think there's going to be a closing window on these ICOs, and when the valuations of some of these cryptocurrencies kind of goes downhill. I don't know necessarily when that'll be. I don't know at how fast that'll be. I hope it lasts for a lot longer, because that means a lot of people profit for longer. But I feel like there's going to be a point in time where that valuation is going to go down a little bit, and things are going to start to correct from what people are evaluating these utility tokens as. And wait to see, when products actually come out and things of that nature happen. So somebody mentioned any thoughts on Walton coin, and I've actually looked at Walton coin a little bit. I haven't done I would say a full bit of due diligence on Walton coin. I haven't done a full bit of due diligence on Walton coin, but outside of that, I work with RFID. I mean, I think that's kind of one of the big things with Walton coin is RFID technology and kind of how that's going to function. But I work with RFID in my day job. I don't know if cryptocurrency has a place there yet. I guess we'll see. So, but I mean the actual, we can pull that up here too. So the actual technology sounds somewhat interesting, and the team sounds a little bit interesting, and I think anything that has China attached to it does well. But I would say the website and some of the information there, I mean, it's not necessarily the best website on the planet. It's also, you got Flash here. Do they even make Flash anymore? There's no real English version, but you got a nice little roadmap and some things of that nature. So I'm still looking into Walton coin a little bit more, but for a U.S. investor, it's a little bit difficult to kind of, figure out what the hell's going on there. So somebody mentioned, did I decide what I'm doing with Manetha, Alex? And yeah, I am at this point in time. I'm just going to wait till it goes onto a bigger, at this point in time, I'm looking to see until it goes onto a bigger platform, a bigger exchange, rather than Ether Delta. So, I mean, I could sell it on Ether Delta, but for the most part right now, I'm just going to, kind of hang out on, I'm going to hang out and wait for it to hit the exchanges, because I feel like it'll get a nice bump. There haven't been, and I don't know, this could be completely wrong, but there hasn't been a lot of cryptocurrencies that have been added to exchanges within the past couple weeks, if you guys have noticed that. There's been a shit ton of ICOs, but there really hasn't been, there hasn't been a lot of ICOs that have been added to the exchanges within the past week or so, or 2 weeks really, and I think that it's going to be an opportunity, when these do get added to the exchanges, that I think they're going to get a nice bump in the price. So we'll see if that turns out to be true. We'll see if that actually happens. I'm hoping it does, but we'll have to take a look. So we will, I mean, as far as things go there too, just kind of taking a look at these questions here. So a couple things. Do I foresee a cryptocurrency bear market? And I think a couple of YouTube guys have mentioned a cryptocurrency bear market. Let's see. Just going through these questions here. Treva asked, am I going to pick up some ladies tonight at the bar? I don't know. I don't know if my wife will like that. She's upstairs right now somewhere just being patient as shit with me because I'm down here. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to pick up any ladies at the bar tonight, but if you guys want to say hi to my wife in the live chat, I'm sure she'd love that. I'll take a screenshot on my phone of that so I can kind of joke with her a little bit about that. So say hi to my wife in the live chat and she'll laugh a little bit. Bob mentioned which ICOs are available in the U.S. There's definitely a number of ICOs that are available in the U.S. right now. It just kind of depends on the kind of structure of those ICOs and how things are going there. So, one ICO I recently did, and I'll throw a link up to. I'll throw a link up. Took a screenshot. Hey, Mrs. Bobby. Oh, that's funny as shit. You guys are awesome. So I'm trying to pull up the one video I have somewhat recently here. Let's see. So there's one that's available in the US if you're talking about ICOs, and I'm looking at a couple different ICOs. The one thing in regards to ICOs that you have to be, fairly smart on is you need to be on the whitelist for a lot of them. So this is the Black Moon Coin ICO. If you want to check that one out, that one I think is a decent one that I'm looking to potentially participate in. But she's gonna love this. Yeah, the ICOs is gonna be. I'm looking at these comments right now and just laughing. Somebody mentioned I heard Box Mining is in custody. He's in Beijing jail. Is that? I hope you're kidding, because I have nothing against that guy, but that would be pretty crazy. So somebody mentioned, can you explain an airdrop and lightning? So I'll explain an airdrop real quick. Basically, an airdrop is people, typically it's OMG, Omise Go is doing an airdrop where they reserved 5% of their cryptocurrency, and they're going to send that to Ethereum, basically all the Ethereum wallets to... Hey, Joe, watch this stuff, man. But basically, they're sending an airdrop is them sending Ethereum or OMG to Ethereum wallets so that there's more exposure of OMG to those wallets. Basically, if you have a certain amount, I forget the exact percentage, but if you have a certain number of Ethereum, you get a certain number of Omise Go OMG. So basically, an OMG is like a free giveaway if you own Ethereum. Somebody mentioned, what will it take for Bitcoin and Ethereum to my dude. What will it take for Bitcoin and Ethereum to decouple if Bitcoin drops to 1,300? Surely Ethereum wouldn't drop to less than 100. I don't know necessarily about that. If Bitcoin drops to 1,300, I think the market's in trouble, and it's going to be a little bit crazy. But I'm hoping that doesn't happen for sure. Somebody just mentioned, why is Box Mining in custody? Somebody just put that in the comments. I hope not. That's about as substantiated as the China banning all cryptocurrency rumor. So let's hope that's not the case for I think his name is Michael. Let's hope that's not the case for Michael's sake. So somebody mentioned OMG, and I'll pull up Omise Go. Somebody mentioned OMG, and this is definitely one of my primary favorites right now. And this is actually held up pretty good in comparison to kind of everything else. I mean, this is why I'm a fan of OMG too. Obviously, OMG's had a crazy run from being worth less than $2, being worth $1 and change. I mean, it ICO'd at around 40 cents. It ICO'd around 40 cents and then had a little bit of drop after it went up from $12 down to being worth like 8 something, and had a crazy nice recovery back up to all-time highs of $13 or so. But refresh this real quick. Had a really nice recovery here to $13 to an all-time high, and now is still at $11 when everything else, granted, everything else is down about 10%, but it's down. This is down 10% off its all-time high, so I'm really not too worried. I feel like it's held up extremely well, especially in comparison to everything else. So I'm excited about OMG. I haven't looked to liquidating any of it. I think it's still a good long-term hold. I think that people love the relationship. Anything that Vitalik is attached to, people love. So it's interesting to see how this will go out. But I'm still pretty excited and pretty happy about OMG. Trevor mentioned, how am I so good at public speaking? Do I have experience? Not really. I'm a sales guy, and I'm a software sales rep in the real world outside of everything else. So I do a lot of client presentations and things like that, and hopefully can think on my feet. Not always, but I try. David, I don't have too many thoughts on the Bankera ICO. I need to check that out. Somebody else mentioned Komodo. I haven't checked out Komodo too much. Definitely on my list as well. One person mentioned OMG $100. I don't know if that's possible or factual, but I would love to see it. I mean, it wouldn't be too outrageous. That would be at this point in time a $10 billion market cap. If things are, let's take a look here, about a $10 billion market cap, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, close to about an $10 to $11 billion market cap. So that's not too crazy to think that OMG might be a $10 billion market cap. And if you think about 10x pay token, I'll get to that in a second, Matt, and I think somebody else asked about 10x as well. But if you think about OMG and payment processors and the valuation of payment processors and things of that nature, so payment processing is a huge space. That's pretty much one of the reasons why I was interested in Manitha as well. Payment processing is a big space. Whether you're thinking about a company like Stripe, that's an extremely valuable startup, venture capital backed startup. If you're thinking about Square, which is a public company that's done very well in the public markets this year, whether you're thinking about PayPal, that is a public company, you're talking about payment processors, companies that enable payment gateways and enable the transfer of money. That's a big market. That's a big deal. If OMG can capture that and be that crypto, Stripe, Square, PayPal, whatever, that's a big deal, and that's a big possibility for sure. And then, so thoughts on 10x pay token. So I think 10x is interesting. I know a lot of people that have a good amount of money in it. It's obviously taken a little bit of a dip recently, but they have a good team. They have a team that knows quite a bit about marketing, and they've done well. They don't offer the credit card, the crypto credit card in the US, so I'm not super excited. I mean, there's not a lot, quite frankly, that's ready in the US, but we'll kind of see how that develops for sure. So somebody else mentioned Steam. What are my thoughts? So Steam from a cryptocurrency perspective, I'm not like, oh my God, Steam. Like, there are a couple guys on like YouTube and all these places that say Steam is going to be the most valuable cryptocurrency ever and all this stuff. Like, in my opinion, Steam is somewhat of a knockoff of Reddit, basically. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. It's Reddit, and you get paid for it. I've started to use it a little bit. I basically, post my videos on Steam. I get 26 cents for one video, 4 cents for another. If you guys are on Steam, shoot me a follow. Let me know. I'll follow you back, whatever. But I mean, some of my videos might get 15 cents, 42 cents upvoting. So it's not like, it's nothing crazy, but I mean, even if you're looking at it, it's kind of interesting. So from Steam's perspective, just to kind of show you, let's see if I can find. So crypto, another YouTube guy, I follow him on Steam, whatever. I'll click on his thing. He's gotten $23 from this post upvoted, but it's only been viewed 31 times. So how does that work? Like, nobody actually views these posts. It's basically just something where people are trying to make money, which is a little bit interesting. So I think that people aren't actually consuming the content on Steam, but they're just trying to upvote other people and have them vote them back and just trying to make money. So that's it's been funny to see. But outside of that, guys, so I guess one other thing too, but if you are new to the channel as well, definitely hit the subscribe button. So I do daily crypto recorded videos on a daily basis. So I had a video today, kind of when the whole market went to shit on all this China news. And I try to be as quick as possible with those videos and as helpful as possible, because in the crypto space that if news is 12 hours stale, it's really not effective. So I try to be as helpful and quick as possible there for sure. But definitely hit me up with the subscribe if you are new. I would really appreciate that. That'd be fantastic. And outside of that too, if you have any questions or anything like that, I'm trying to answer as many of these as possible. But if you ever need anything, just go over to, so I have a website here. It's just Crypto Bobby. If you ever need anything, it's basically all the ways to get in contact with me, or just pretty much consume any of the content I put out, whether that's the YouTube channel or I put it into podcast form on iTunes. It's on Google Play as well if you need that. If you have the tools and resources or just portfolio in general, definitely just go over to Crypto Bobby there in case you need anything, and I will definitely help you out as much as possible. So thank you for those guys hitting the notify button and the subscribe button. That's awesome. I really do appreciate that. But at this point in time, I don't want to push my wife's patience anymore. It's almost 11 o'clock here tonight, so I'm gonna finish this glass of wine. Probably gonna head up to bed and hang out with her before she kills me. So I appreciate the time, guys. It was awesome to speak to you. If you have any questions, just continue to sound off in the comments. I really do appreciate it. This was the biggest YouTube live we've had so far, so that was awesome. Friday night, great time with you guys. Hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much. Rob from Crypto Bobby signing out. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody. Peace.